Somewhere between the edge of being alive and feeling dead.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over things that I bring in my everyday day pack backpack. So this is my Durston Kakwa 55 backpack from Durston Gear. Basically I take this out everywhere, day hikes, multi-day hikes, whatnot. And we'll go through what I have in here. And I also have that hip sack, just an Osprey hip sack. And we're going to go over stuff that I carry for every single hike. And beyond what I have here, what I'm going to show here, there are some seasonal items that I kind of bring in and out. For example, in the winter, of course, I bring an Avalanche kit, you know, the beacon, the probe, the shovel. I think it's the BC Avalanche Association kit. So this is like a Tracker 4 beacon and my sort of portable shovel. These all just go in the back of my, well, at least the shovel and the probe go in the back pocket of my backpack. And here's the probe kit. So this, of course, I'll clip somewhere in my pants, put it in a pocket or somewhere where it's not going to get joggled loose if I am caught in an avalanche. So that will come in the winter time. And let's just take a look at what I have in my backpack. So right here in the front, these are sort of emergency items that I would probably want real quick access to. So of course my InReach emergency communication device. So this, I could just have it right there close to my hand. If I break a leg, get attacked by an animal, I can just quickly push the SOS button. So that's right there, close access. Bear spray, of course, is the next one. If I come across an animal that's going to attack me, even I guess a human being that's trying to kill me, maybe it's going to help. But right there, close access, because you'll need to access those things potentially very quickly. So that's right there on the outside, quick access. Here on the side, I carry some drinks that have electrolytes in them. I don't really like Gatorade, but it's kind of the perfect drink for a hike. Some people bring tablets. I also bring tablets as well, electrolyte tablets that you can add to water, or even have chewable electrolyte tablets. But those are very important for hikes to kind of avoid getting cramped and losing energy quickly. So some water, drinks. This is a liter of water. I've got another Gatorade there. So I've got 3 Gatorades, a liter of water, and I always have like 1 or 2 emergency Gatorades inside my pack. Let's take a look. What is inside the pack? So we'll just throw it all out. So to start off with, these are just some rain pants. If it's raining out. Some emergency portable food that I can cook. These are dehydrated meals. And some micro spikes if I need to throw on my boots. It's that time of year, so during summer I'm not going to bring those. But right now we're in the shoulder season, so I do bring them. This is a rain jacket, so rain pants, rain jacket. Emergency drink. And a little pocket stove, BRS 3000, plus a Bic lighter in there. That of course goes with this whole meal thing, but I can start a fire, I can melt snow, I can cook something if I need to. Of course, some fuel for the stove. An emergency winter hat. I carry this all year round. Even in the summer, you get into situations where you're freezing cold. A hat is kind of my first line of defense to stay warm. Very important. And along with that, an emergency set of winter gloves. Always bring that. Any time of year, every hike. It's always in there. Some fire starter sticks. I've got my bathroom kit, poop shovel, toilet paper. Always there, you never know when you're going to need it. I always carry an extra black garbage bag. Very useful. You know, sometimes you pack out garbage, you can use it. If you have wet clothes, you can throw them in here and not get everything else wet. All kinds of stuff, very useful. What else do we have here? So I've got a manual fire starter. So like this is one of those sticks with flint that you can just strike and create a fire in case my Bic doesn't work. And I've got 3 or 4 Bics in these zip pouches. I've got lighters as well. I've got snacks in there, but we'll go over all of that. What else do we have in here? So this is in this bag, I usually have some miscellaneous repair stuff and tools. Let's take a look. So another lighter, you can't have enough lighters. In here, I have some repair tape for my tent, for your puffy jackets, that kind of thing. So waterproof repair tape. Extra pair of dry, warm socks. Notice how it's in a protective thing that's water resistant. We've got some more repair tape for tents and boots and stuff like that. And in here, we have some tools for dealing with snowshoes and various equipment that I bring. I put emergency tools in there. And what else do we have in here? And some extra guylines with attachments and whatnot for the tent, or if I need to put up a tarp or emergency shelter, extra guylines. Very useful. All right, let's continue through this. So here I have an emergency e-bivy. This one is a MSR e-bivy. This is basically like a portable emergency shelter, kind of like a tent, but it's a bivy. So you can look it up online, other Google videos. I've used this in the winter as an extra layer of warmth. So I put my sleeping bag inside of this, or I put this inside of my sleeping bag, either way, and it adds another layer of protection. But it's great for if you're stuck out in the wilderness, you can climb into this. It'll somewhat keep you more dry than if you didn't have it. Just an extra grocery bag, again, similar to the principle of this black one, but smaller. And we've got some of these loose warm pads for your hands and feet and whatnot. Always bring that. You never know when you're going to need it. And of course, a water filtration system. So I have 2 filters in here. One is my primary and another backup in case the first one fails. And I happen to have an extra pair of socks. So I guess maybe a little overzealous, but I have 2 pairs of warm emergency socks in here. Probably good for wintertime. In summer, maybe I'll just carry 1 pair. And this is a Nylofume pack liner. So instead of having the waterproof liner that you usually put on the outside, I put this on the inside. I scrunch it up and it keeps water out of everything in here. This is somewhat water resistant, but this kind of guarantees it. So this is the way I prefer to do it. A lot of professionals do this to protect their pack. Underneath, this is my sort of emergency stuff, real emergency stuff. At the very bottom, so this is like a thick polyplastic bag. And in here, I've got like some first aid stuff. And my quick first aid stuff that I can get right away, small gear, is in the pouch or hip sack. The bigger stuff's in here. So I've got like a tourniquet. I've got something for sprained ankle. I've got my first aid plastic kit, all kinds of stuff in there. Bandages, bigger bandages and whatnot. And in here I have all kinds of stuff. So we've got, again, hand warmers, sterile pads, burn pads, all kinds of stuff. I have been burned before at a campfire. I've had 2nd degree burns. And so burn pad comes in use in that way. In here, I've got, I'm not going to take it out, but I have a marker, pencil. I've got some emergency Advil, aspirin, stuff like that. And I've got a multi-tool, like one of those pliers plus screwdrivers, etc. That's what's in there. And a pocket mask. I have first aid training. If I ever come across someone, and I've been in a situation where someone went to cardiac arrest and I didn't have a pocket mask, and when you're doing real first aid in the real world, I decided to pack one of these. So Gives me a fighting chance to help the person, because it's pretty tough by yourself to administer CPR to someone. Sealing their mouth, doing the chest compressions, I pack that. All right, what else do we have in here? Extra shoelaces and some extra guylines as well. You can use guylines as shoelaces in a pinch, but I do have extra shoelaces somewhere in one of these kits here. And this is just a big puffy jacket. When it's really cold, an emergency puffy jacket that's in all of this. So if I get in water or whatnot, there's a good chance this could stay dry because it's multiple levels of protection. So that's what's inside the pack. You've seen what's here on the sides. Let's talk a little bit about what's in the pockets. So in these pockets, I have lots of snacks, gummies. I have electrolyte tablets. This would be Noon, I think is the brand name. I've got granola bars, all kinds of snacks in there, stuff that will last a long time, but that gives kind of quick nourishment. On this side, something similar, flagging tape, so that if you're going to cross a creek or something like that, you can put some flagging tape on the tree so that you know exactly where you crossed. Even if you're tracking on a device, it helps quite a bit to put some flagging tape. Make sure you remove it on the way out if you're going to use it. More Bic lighters. I've got emergency USB cable in here and some other snacks. So that's what's in these front zippers. At the back, in this back pocket, I always carry, every single hike, my Silky saw. This thing gets a lot of use. I use this for trail clearing when need be, but cutting firewood, whatever. Silky saw, I trust this saw. I've used it many hundreds, maybe thousands of kilometers. Very useful. And I have it on a rope because I've lost other saws in the past, so this way I'll never lose the saw. That's something that doesn't belong in there. Here we have one of these sit pads. Very good to have one of these out on the hike when it's cold or wet. Just fold it out and you have a nice dry foam pad to sit on. All right, what else do we have here? So this is an optional thing. Sometimes I'll bring rope or whatnot. If I'm going somewhere where, it's steep, cliffs, caves, river crossings, this could come in handy in an emergency. So I've got 50 feet of rope here. That's just what I carry. All right, what else do we have here? Just this kind of piece of plastic. When I strap snowshoes onto the back, when I'm in transition season, like here in the fall, or even during winter time, if I'm not wearing them, say I'm hiking up part of the mountain and then I'm going to put snowshoes on or take them off or whatnot, I'll kind of put this so it's not, the shoes aren't pushing and being abrasive against my pack as a protective layer. So I'm always bringing that. And this is a sort of footprint for my tent, like a Tyvek sheet, just an extra footprint that I always bring. And I've got an extra compass in here in case I need a compass. If everything else fails, I have a compass. And for the adventure dog, a pop-up water/food dish. Super simple, flat, easy to bring. And in the bottom, always have a bunch of these bungee cords. And I just end up clamping these bungee cords onto these carabiners here and cinch my snowshoes onto the back and anything else, and they come in quite handy. So I think that's pretty much, and about 5 pounds of leaves from the last hike. Anyways, that's kind of the main thing I have in my pack. And just to talk about, I'm not going to open everything here, but I'll talk to what I carry in my hip sack. I've got first aid stuff here in this front zipper, a Bic lighter, some USB cables. I've got battery packs in here. I think 10,000 milliamp hour batteries. I always make sure they're charged up. 2 headlamps. Snacks in here. I've got my dog poop bags in there, a leash, and a whole bunch of things, extra battery for my headlamps in there. It all fits in here. Also right on with carabiners on the front of this, I've got an LED light, and I have a thermometer so that I can just turn it on and see how cold it is. And if I need an emergency light right now, it's right there. Additionally, I always have this little carry pouch connected to the belt, and that is if I'm going to just leave my bag at the tent and walk around, I'm going to grab my bear spray, throw it into this, and I can just walk around loosely without bringing the whole pack. That's my setup. Every day hike I go on, every multi-day hike, this is for sure in there, and hope it gives you guys some ideas. Thanks. So just to show, all of that was inside my pack. After making this video, I dumped it all out, and yeah, a couple pounds of the bush in my pack.